Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation reads like this: Hello Brother Nanshi, can you please post my own confession as hidden identity? I am a man and I am aged 49 years old. I want to confess to you that I am a ritualist. So when I became a ritualist, it was also because I wanted some powers, because in my church, I started my own church here in South Africa. It is a white garment church. So I wanted the powers to prophesy and also to heal those people that would have came to me. So then I started to do those rituals. So this is what I do at my house. Me and my wife, we are no longer sharing the same bedroom. She has her own bedroom and I do have my own bedroom. In her bedroom, there is everything, all the furniture, the bed, but in the other bedroom in which I sleep in, there is only a coffin. This coffin, it is in the middle of the room. Whenever I want to be with my wife, or when my wife wants to sleep with me, what she does is that she brings the blankets and then we will lie down right next to the coffin. After I would have finished, and then I would return back to the coffin. When we are doing this, we are not allowed to have any conversation at all. And if she wants another round again, I will wake up and get out of the coffin, and then I will go and sleep with her and then return back and sleep inside my coffin. What forced me to do these rituals, it was because when we came to South Africa, me and my wife, we then started some businesses. We had some trucks that were operating, that were on the road. When people would look at me having all of these trucks, they will say, this man, he is truly blessed and he has money. But what they did not know was that the truck will be moving on the road without me making any money at all. And I used to go to Mozambique a lot, and I said, is it not far much better for me to do these rituals? When I did those rituals, I was given 5 bottles because I had 5 trucks, and I had been told that these bottles contained some oil, and that can give me luck, good luck, because my trucks were always having breakdowns and I was not making money at all. So I was told that these lucky charm oils inside the 5 bottles that had been given to me, my wife was never supposed to see them, to touch them, and I was supposed to hide them either in the house or I was supposed to hide them in my car. When I got this lucky charm oil, I told all of my drivers to return my trucks back to my yard. They did that and then they packed my trucks, and then I took those 5 bottles and then I told my drivers that they were supposed to go on a 2 weeks off and I was going to call them. So what I did was that I then took a bucket and then I started washing all of my trucks one by one. For each truck, I used 1 bottle as I was washing away the bad spirits that had been causing all of the misfortunes in my life and my businesses. Even though I had told my drivers that I was going to call them and then they would return back to work, this will be after 2 weeks like I had been told in Mozambique. But then work started flowing in and I then called my drivers and I told them that I wanted them to return back to work. They came and each one of them collected his truck and returned back to work. What they did not know was that these trucks, I had already used some charms on them. So they started to have some accidents as I had been told by the traditional healer. So these accidents were being caused by some misfortunes, as well as my wife. She had seen those lucky charm oil bottles and she was the one that was causing all of these problems. And this was a punishment that I was receiving because of what had happened. Amongst my drivers, there was one who was parked at a truck stop. Something that was quite funny happened. There was this other woman who was busy selling things to the truck drivers in that truck stop. I don't know what happened, but the driver said that the parking brake, it just went off, and that woman, she was walking so close to the truck, she fell down and then she was hit by the truck. That was the accident that happened, even though it was quite surprising, but I knew that it was the punishment that I was receiving because of what had happened. I had not followed the rules properly as I had been told by the traditional healer. I quickly returned back to Mozambique, and I was told that it was my wife who had caused all of these problems for me. What had happened at that time was that my wife had seen that there was something that was happening. There was another woman that I was dating, and it was all by mistake. There was one day when I had gone out, and then I had met this other woman, and me and that woman, we quickly made love in the car. And then she told me that her husband was looking for her. She quickly ran out of my car, for she was afraid that her husband was going to catch her red-handed, thereby forgetting her underwear in my car, and I did not even notice this until one day when my wife started cleaning the vehicle. She saw it. So from that day onwards, she was always suspicious of me. Even the day when I had my car just parked outside, I did not even know that she wanted to search and to look around, and then she found those bottles that were hidden in my car. So those 5 bottles, the tokoloshis, then they transformed themselves because I had already broken my oath and I was no longer following the rules. They became 5 cats. During the day, you can see these cats, but you will think that they are just normal cats, but what you won't notice is that they are tokoloshis. At night, these cats, they would become one big cat, and then they would become a woman. So that woman, the tokoloshi, she used to come and then she would sleep with me, such that I started to get so sick, for it is not a good thing for a man to sleep with a tokoloshi. I then did more rituals so that this tokoloshi of a woman can go and sleep with the other boys that are born into the family. The traditional healer in Mozambique then gave me some charms. So whenever this tokoloshi comes at night wanting to sleep with me, it will feel as if I am so dirty so much that it will see me as disgusting. Then it will turn around and walk away. To all the men that are born into the family, then it will go and choose that tonight I will sleep with this one. So this has been affecting the men that are born into the family, such that they are all suffering from diseases like your erectile dysfunction, such that they can no longer sleep with their wives. They cannot please their wives anymore because they finish all of their energy on this tokoloshi, the spiritual wife. In their dreams, they do have sexual intercourse with their wives, thinking that it is just a dream. But what would have happened is that the tokoloshi, when it enters into the bedroom where the man will be sleeping with the wife, then the tokoloshi will take the face of the wife and then it will wear the face of the wife, and then it will start to sleep with that man in his dreams. So that is what I did as well, and a lot of people in our family, they are suffering all because of me. Growing up, we used to go to Mozambique a lot because my mother's parents, they traveled from Mozambique during the Civil War. Then they came to Zim and then they started working on this other farm. Then my mother, she got married to my father. Then they started staying in Harare. Then there was a time when people from Mozambique, after the war was over, they started to return back to their country, as well as people from Malawi. They were leaving Zim. As for my mother, since she already had a family, she said that she did not want to do that. She wanted to stay in Zim because my father had refused. He had said he wanted his children to grow up in their country in Zim, but with time, even my father agreed when the economic hardships became so hard. So we have relatives that are in Mozambique now, as well as relatives that are in Zim. So we would go to Mozambique for holidays because that is where my uncles, his kids, even some of my father's relatives, they migrated and went to Mozambique, fleeing the economic hardships that were happening in the country. So I started my business from a very young age. That was when one guy said, how can you run a business when you do not have any other charms that you'll be using? Because all of us, as long as you are a black person, there are bad spirits that will follow you. And when you are growing up, you know us as black people, we are always feeling jealous because of each other. There might be a person who would have cast a bad spell upon you, or maybe you would have slept with a woman who has bad spirits that follow her. So when you sleep with such a woman, then the bad spirits will start to follow you as well. You need to find someone who can cleanse you, not only to cleanse you, but to also give you the good spirit that will be helping you in your business, a lucky charm. That is what you need. So after my businesses was like going down, that was when I remembered that I had this other uncle of mine who was in Mozambique. All of a sudden he started making money. I said, if he made money, I can also make money. I went and I spoke with him, and I told him that I wanted him to assist me. When I spoke with this uncle of mine, I said, you have so many buses, you have so many businesses in Mozambique that are functioning really well. Can you assist me? I said, I cannot assist you financially, but I can help you with someone who can help you. But when you come here to Mozambique, I want you to bring your wife so that at least she can know whatever you will be doing. You are not supposed to keep a secret between you and your wife when it is spiritual matters. She has to know everything. In my mind, I said, no, uncle, I'm not going to do that. Do you even know my wife? My wife is a Christian. She will never want me to do that, even though she knows that we are suffering, but she will never agree because she sees herself as someone that is very prayerful, even though she does not pray with all of her heart. Because if she was a true Christian, when I became a ritualist, the Holy Spirit was supposed to show her, to reveal it to her, that your husband is a ritualist. So in my mind, I said, there is no way that I can go with my wife to Mozambique and then she will witness me becoming a ritualist. No, it is impossible. My uncle kept on telling me that it was a wise decision if I was going to bring my wife to Mozambique, but I refused. But now I regret. Maybe if I had told my wife that this was what I wanted to do, because at that time she thought that I was cheating on her and we had money, but this money that we had, we were supposed to use it for diesel since the trucks were now back on the road. I took that money and I used it to go to Mozambique. She called me and she said, where are you? Because I walked out of the house silently, and then I started driving towards Mozambique. When she called me, I did not pick up the call. I only called her when I was close to the Mozambican border. She asked me where I was, if I was with another woman. I then switched to video call and I said, can you see, am I with another woman? She asked me where I was going. And I told her that I was headed to Mozambique because there were things that were supposed to be done there and I was using the money which was meant for business. She got so angry with me that I told her to relax, for everything was going to be okay. She thought that maybe there in Mozambique I was going to use that money to at least marry another woman. I promised her that it was not going to happen. She got mad at me and I said I was going to make it up to her. When I arrived in Mozambique, that was when my uncle took me. We drove and we went to this other village, which is in Tete. When we arrived there, we spoke with a traditional healer. We stayed at his place as he was busy helping me. So this traditional healer then said, you should have brought your wife. Now that you did not bring your wife, what is going to happen is that your wife is never supposed to know that this is what you have done. This is going to be your secret until you bring your wife here. So that man then ended up giving me 5 bottles, and he had poured some lucky charms in those 5 bottles so that I can have good luck when I am running my business. Whilst I was speaking with that traditional healer, he kept on asking me, how was it even possible that a man can want to do such a thing alone without informing his wife? Because if my wife was going to see these bottles, I can even run mad. I then said, please just help me, because my wife, she is a Pentecostal woman. There is no way that she could have agreed to come to a traditional healer. Just understand. That man then said, okay, I am going to help you. I am going to give you your lucky charm and you are going to have good luck in your business. But know that in time, you have to explain this to your wife. But as for now, try by all means that your wife does not see that you have these lucky charms. Try by all means that she will never touch these lucky charms, because if she do such a thing, then things are going to be so bad in your business and in your life. I returned back to South Africa and I started living my life. We were enjoying, me and my wife. She was not supposed to touch those bottles. She should have left them there, but she ended up touching them and throwing them away. Then things started to go so bad. In the meantime, me and my wife, with the money that we had started our own church, but it was not a Pentecostal church. It was a white garment church that we had started. So as a bishop, I used to feel so embarrassed because people would only come to my church because they knew that I had money and I did not have any powers at all. I used to depend on other prophets that would come to my church to prophesy because I did not have the gift of prophecy. And when I saw that I did not have the powers to be a bishop, to show that I had been ordained by God, I then returned back to Mozambique. Now I wanted some spiritual powers. The healer said that there was a punishment that was coming my way because my wife had messed up things for me. I begged him. That was when he told me that what was supposed to be done, my wife was supposed to know and she was not supposed to know. Even though we have a coffin in the other room, my wife, she knows and she does not know. Spiritually, she knows, but physically, she does not know because we stole her mind. She is someone who is more like a zombie. She cannot think on her own because of the rituals that I did. I was told to trap my wife and to make her become like a zombie. This is how I turned my wife to become like a zombie. I was given a clay plate which I was supposed to take back to Mozambique. This clay plate, one day I told my wife that I wanted to pray for her. She was kneeling in front of me and then I started praying. Then I placed that plate on top of her head and I kept on praying, and then I closed it with a white cloth and I returned back to Mozambique, where I left it at the traditional healer's shrine. Her spirit is inside that clay plate and is controlled by that traditional healer. My wife is such a zombie, so much that if she enters into that bedroom, which I call my bedroom now, where the coffin is, she cannot see the coffin. When she enters into that room, she will see that there is a bed. She will see that there is normal furniture which can be found in a normal bedroom. Even when we sleep together on the floor right next to the coffin, in her mind, she will think as if we are sleeping on top of the bed. In her mind, there is no coffin, yet that room is very empty. There is nothing but a coffin in there. I did not become a ritualist simply because I have an evil heart. I am a good person, but I became a ritualist because of some of the things that were happening in my life. I became a ritualist because of the way that I was suffering as a businessman. It was a painful thing to see 5 of your trucks being packed, sometimes going out and working, but you were not getting anything at all. It was a very painful thing and a painful decision that I had to take to make my wife to become a zombie simply because she got me punished. I was told that there is the spirit of bad luck that follows me wherever I go to. Even if I did not want to use these lucky charms, then it meant that my business would have gone down. I had other people that looked up to me and that were dependent on me, so I had to make sure that I had to do whatever that I had to do so that I can start to run a successful business again. This is my own story. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. It is not an easy thing to live a life whereby you can't even move around. I can't go on a vacation. How can I go on a vacation? Where will I go on a vacation with a coffin? I am always indoors, always moving around. Only when I am going to Mozambique to see my relatives, to be with that traditional healer. When I am here in South Africa, I can't even move around. When the sun has gone down, I am supposed to be home and I am supposed to go and sleep in that coffin. I so wish to share the same bed with my wife throughout the night, just talking, but we can't have those conversations because what I have to do is that I have to sleep in that coffin each and every day. Those are the rituals that I have to follow. My heart bleeds whenever the boys that were born into the family, now some of them, they have their wives and kids, and they do come to me, and then they'll start to complain, saying that a solution has to be found to all of their problems. How can the whole family have the same problem of erectile dysfunction, and they can't please their wives anymore? They look up to me for solutions, yet I can't provide those solutions because I am the one who is causing all of their problems. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother, and that was the translation that he sent to me. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.